DP, I believe. They were trying to prove unconscious bias, and they ended up coming up with, I mean, one interpretation of what Artzim just said, that if someone has a bias, they can't possibly see the MS. So until now, they thought in the scientific realm that if one knows what his bias is, they would then be able to see the MS because they can cancel it out. They discovered that even if a person knows what his bias is, he still can't see the MS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody
which is
should
exactly
care
what he
anymore.
just said. What?
So nobody should care anymore. You can't do anything about it. It's unconscious.
No, that's what Artzim just said. No, fakert. The only way not to is to get rid of it.
How do you get rid of an
You get rid of the
unconscious bias? Unconscious inherently means you have no control over it.
And now
No,
that's already a deep muscle.
Lav
How
dafka,
you get rid of it?
lav dafka lack of control, but possibly a total lack of awareness.
Unconscious,
Achieving-
no, that's not what unconscious means.
No,
It's
no,
not
no, no.
control. Imamish, you have nothing to do with it. It's just part of your, almost like your psyche in a way. And it's
Yeah, but
unconscious, so what are you going to do?
Unconscious
Not
does not mean
subconscious,
unconscious does not mean that you have an awareness of it.
which is why you can't do anything about it.
If you can achieve the awareness, then you can work on it. But you have to first
The
have
whole
an
idea of
epiphany.
unconscious
or-
means that you can't be aware of it.
And
We should save this for after the chazara.
We didn't
Amen.
start yet. You didn't press the button, Parrots.
He did.
Yes,
He
I
did.
Did too. Press
did.
it
Akiva, no,
minutes ago.
Akiva.
Akiva, you.
Yeah, we got to talk about what time tomorrow still also. So, you know,
Yeah. What do you want, a flight or something?
I'm not. I'm in the car on the way to Monroe.
Oh, okay. I forgot you're going
The
to
same
Monroe.
thing, knowing you.
Business meeting?
Yeah. Akiva?
Go visit Rafa.
Yaakov, Aaron wants to start at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and he wants to go all the way through.
I'm welcome.
I want to go all date. Yes. Thank you, Parrots.
Well, how do you
10 o'clock.
I'm
I'm
not.
in for a 6-hour shear.
It's there's a lot of Altir Zubadarach going on in this tonight's daf. A lot
Right,
of people just
exactly.
driving while doing the daf.
Exactly.
What can I do?
I'm just trying to stop from killing myself listening to this.
I was also supposed to be driving to Lakewood, but meanwhile I'm not going. So whatever. But anyway,
Tough.
Exactly. When are you going upstate? You're not going upstate?
not upstate, it's Pennsylvania,
I'm sorry,
whatever.
Pennsylvania, whatever.
Yeah, no, tomorrow morning. Anyways, okay. So let's go. Yeah. What time tomorrow? We'll figure it out, I guess, later.
Yeah.
Okay. Hareini kazeh, right? That's what we got to. Gimel and Aleph, 6 lines down. So a guy says Hareini kazeh, then that means he's a Nazir. So what exactly does that mean? Right? So Nehi Nami the Tofus Besairoi, even if you're going to say that he held on to his hair, right, which we discussed yesterday, because the hair is a beautiful thing, and that's part of being a Nazir. Hareini kazeh loy omar. They didn't say anything. He's holding on to his hair, and he said he's like this. So what does that mean? Well, how do you get that to mean Nazir? Right, so Gemara says, Amar Shmuel, we're going to show you Nazir over Lefana. Talking about where there was a Nazir passing in front of him, like we said before. It only works if he says Hareini kazeh when the Nazir is going in front of him. Right? Fine. Then
And that's considered a kinui?
that is considered a yad, no?
I thought we're back to kinuyim now, no?
I thought Hareini kazeh is yad. No?
Oh, I thought what the Nazir, Nazik,
That's
that's
kinui.
the end of kinuyim, and then it's yadus
That's
again.
that's what I thought.
Ah,
Yeah.
wait. So then the next ones are back to kinuyim. Misalsel, Michalkel.
I wasn't sure what those were.
I would think those are kinuyim.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Stam
not sure.
ad. You end up with a mishnah that goes yadus, kinuyim, yadus, kinuyim.
Could be. but I'm not sure. You're right. Maybe kazeh is not a kinui. Maybe it is a kinui. I don't know.
It seems like a third thing.
Well,
It's
isn't it
either a
also
yad or a
depend if the
kinui.
nazir, if the nazir's passing by, won't that change what it is?
That's what I'm thinking, right? So when Shmuel says he's passing by, and he's saying
Right.
"Hareini kazev," it's not a yad. He's saying exactly what he wants, but it's not a kinui either.
Right. No, I hear that.
It's neither.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Hareini misalsel. He says, I'm going to be misalsel. So how do you touch salsel? So salsel means like you're going to turn it over, or right? You're going to turn things over. So the Gemara says, "My dadin silsel saira." Who says that silsel has to do with hair? Right? So we say, "Kada amra leha he amsa de Rebbe lahu gavra." Right? That the amsa de Rebbe told that man. Right? There's a whole Gemara of amsa de Rebbe. I don't remember where it is. This Gemara, where she said all sorts of things to people in Rebbe's house, and we learn out the taich from amsa de Rebbe.
What does it mean in the pasuk? By Yosef et Tzaddik? What does it mean in the pasuk?
No, good. Yeah, there it certainly means that it means that he is it saying in the pasuk, or it's a medrash. I think it's a medrash. I don't know if it says it in the pasuk.
It's a medrash. Okay, fine.
I don't know. Where's Rebbeinu? Is he on? Is it a pasuk or it's a Rashi that brings a medrash? No, I think. I don't know. Anybody remember? Not that long ago. It's only a month ago. No, a little, yeah. 5 weeks ago. All right. I don't know. But either way.
Jacob, we were told in the beginning there would be no beginners.
I wasn't giving beginners. Okay. If anybody finds it, so you'll let us know or think about it. So anyways, so this Amsa the Rebbe told this man, when are you gonna to mess with your hair? Right? So therefore silsel has to do with hair, and hair has to do with nazir, so memela becomes a nazir. It says aim at Torah. Maybe silsel is referring to Torah, and the guy is saying that he's going to learn Torah. It says you should salsala means, I guess you should turn over a new page, maybe turn over a new leaf. What do I say?
Talim are curls, so
I don't know, but this is with a samach, no?
Oh, it's with a samach. Sorry, I'm not looking in.
Yeah, no, it's a samach, but it could be it's a play on word. It could be it's a play on word, whatever. It could be it came from that, right? Yeah. So, anyways, salsala saray memecha. So that means maybe it's referring to Torah. Or mashmuel achanami shetavas b'sayra. No, it's here we're talking about where he's holding on to his hair. So since he's holding on to his hair, when he says masalsal, must be he's referring to hair. Okay. Hareini mechalko.
The Rashi about Yosef is quoting a Bereshis Rabbah. It's quoting a Medrash.
Oh yeah.
It's right at the beginning of Vayeshev.
Also, it's
it
a medrash.
Masakin B'Sarei. It doesn't even say Masalsel. It says Masakin.
Yeah, but there is another lashon of silsel used. I don't remember where. Okay, whatever it is, fine. So that's salsal. Hareini mechalko. So mechalko comes from the word kalkala, right? To satisfy whatever it is. Mimai dadin kilkul sarehu. Who says that the word kilkul is talking about nazir? Kedetanan sid. Rabbi Yehuda Omer kedei lasid kilkul. Says this is the Mishnah in Shabbos that's talking about what are the minimum amounts for things to carry. Meaning you're not chayev to carry if you're carrying something out of an aveira unless it meets the minimum requirements. So sid, which is like mud, that they used for beauty. So Rabbi Yehuda says it's in order to lasud kilkul, in order to put some mud on kilkul. And what is that? V'amarav. What's that? Bas tzida. That's the hair that's on the, what do you call it? On the sides of the head, on the temple. Right? So since that's on the side of the hair, so you see that the word kalkul means hair. So Gemara says, okay, but maybe mezan ani, maybe kalkul comes from what we teach kalkala, like we said, which is to satisfy. Maybe the guy meant to say that he's gonna give tzedakah, mezan aniyeh, maybe he meant he's gonna feed aniyim. Kiduchsiv, vayichalkel Yosef es aviv es echav, and Yosef was machalkel his father and his brother. So here we go from Yosef Rabban, right? So that kalkala, maybe that's what it's referring to. Again, it's talking about where he's toughest besairoi. He was holding on to his hair, so must be that he used the terminology of hair. Fine. He says, if I'm gonna grow out pera, my hair, or my growth, then he's a nazir. So Gemara says, who says that the word shiluach means to grow? Tichsiv shulachayich pardes rimoinim. Right? That your how does it tell? It touches a shir ashirim, right? Your shulachayich. What grows out of you is like a pardes rimoinim. How do you say it? A pardes, an orchard of rimoinim, of pomegranates. Right? So you see that it what do you call it? The shaleach pera. So that's what it means. The shaleach means to grow. So the Gemara says, "Ema midi davuri." Maybe it means that it's to be taking it away. He's gonna put down water. Hashem is gonna put down water onto outside of the shemayim, right? So maybe that's what it means. Is you're putting it out onto something, doesn't mean grow. So Tana para Yolif. The Tana has a gezeira shava pera. It says by Nazir that he's going to be kadosh and he's going to grow his hair. And it says by a kayin hedyet, he should not send out his hair, right? So pera tells you that it means to grow hair, right? Meaning this pasuk we learn now, we're going to see this in Shabbos' daf as Hashem, that the kohanim had to take a haircut. Regular kohen had to take a haircut within every 30 days, right? Fine, but with the word, there's a word yishluchu there too. Fine, riba yisema, or you could say hi sheleach mayim. This one it says sheleach mayim nami ribuyu. That also means to grow. The Garmina Rav Yosef, the kalmashkim lemayil lepeira b'ravi. When they give things to drink, and what do you call it? It grows. They give the land and the farms water, and then it's peirav, and then it has fruit. It grows fruit. Fine. So he says that I'm going to take birds. I'm going to make on myself birds. Meir says it's a nazir. This one I don't understand this one. Okay, but I guess we'll go through it and we'll see. My time with the Meir. So it's a Machlokes. Meir says Nazir, and who was the one that was chaylik on him? And the Chachamim said he's not a Nazir. Meaning the guy says it's birds are on me. Birds are on me. He's a Nazir. So what's a pshat? And it's a Machlokes whether he's a Nazir. So my time with the Meir. What's the reason for a Meir? Since the birds are next to the hair, so that must be that, and hair stands for Nazir, so it must be that the birds means that he's going to be a Nazir. Why?
What is that? Is that what? There's a special limud? What does that mean?
I have no idea what that means, to be honest with you. I would say I broke my head on it today. I did not break my head on it today, but I certainly tried. I tried a little bit to figure out exactly what this is.
Maybe his wife had a baby.
What?
Maybe his wife had a baby that week.
Yeah, and then so that's what he needs to
do. Just as likely than he saw a Nazir walking in the street.
Right. So here it's interesting. Here it doesn't say that he saw a Nazir. Well, we're going to see. Well, one of the shitas is going to say. Right? Yeah, but it seems like because of the proximity of the word tziparim to hair in the pasuk, Mamela, when he says tzipar, it's referring to hair.
Well, what's the limit when we have two things that was smicha? Is that
no, it's not. I don't think it's a drasha. It's not a drasha here. It's just that this fellow knew nach, and Mamela, when he said tziparim, he was referring to that because the word tziparim is next to the word seir, so I guess he was trying to pull shtick. That's the only thing I could understand, Rabban. What is this guy doing this? Can't you just say that you're a Nazir? Finish. What are you making Meshuggah? Right? So
Because otherwise you wouldn't have the Masechta. I don't know.
I guess, yes, there is an advantage to that. There is an advantage to that. But you know the guys that have to make sure everything is pronounced exactly correctly. You know, like the guys that text out that he's supposed to be Bayramine Vissamim instead of Bayramine Bissamim, right?
Yeah.
Those kanoim, right? Or the guys that say they daven hanetz. They don't daven nets, they daven hanetz, right?
I can give you a list.
Half the sheet to say that it's nets, not hanetz, but you know, those type of guys.
I'm a grammar nerd.
Okay,
I'm a grammar nerd.
So then we're talking about you. So this guy is maybe trying to show off that instead of, I'm not going to call myself a Nazir, I'm going to call myself a tzipor. You know why? Because in the pasuk, the word tzipor is next to hair. Okay, wonderful, right?
All right, that's not the same as calling himself a fagel, right?
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, I learned it this morning as a smooth smicha. It wasn't.
You learned it as like what I'm saying. What it's not a smichas of psukim. You learn out sometimes. You want to learn out why something is done. I mean, how? I mean, what's the din? Right here, it's not. We're now trying to figure out the din. We're just trying to figure
Otherwise,
out.
how you comparing birds to
hair? Because it's right next to it. Because it's right
And
next to it.
So what? It's next to it. So what? I'm saying. Unless you learn it that smuchen. I don't know.
Smuchen, what does smuchen tell you?
That it's one next to the other. So just like.
So then you're telling me that when a guy says birds, because birds is next to hair, so when like Yishver said, when a guy decides he wants to be menadiv birds to the base of Mikdash, we're going to say no, it really means hair.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever Nazir.
So Abba, how did you understand this?
I don't. I don't.
I'm with you.
I mean, Baruch Hashem, I think in the time of the Mikdash, it was Baruch Hashem, more ladies having babies than people becoming Nazirs, I would hope.
Yeah.
I think that Tziporim is referring to that. Yeah. Yeah, but okay, we'll see that on the base. Either way, it says, what is the pasuk?
Taisha brings that down. He does bring it down.
What?
He says, if you become tummy, you need tzipurim.
Yeah, well, what? Correct.
It's not just the psukim. I'm saying that just seems to be. It's not just the psukim that are smuchim to each other. It's also the fact that it's shaykh in the mitzvah. If you become tummy, you have to bring tzipurim.
Right.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Kiva? I don't understand.
It's mashma. It's more than just the fact that the psukim are next to each other. The fact that that's the reference to tzipurim has to do with because the mitzvah itself is shaykh to birds. So it's not just a random, they're juxtaposed to each other in the psukim. It's also it's the idea of a tzipor is shy to the mitzvah of Nazir.
Right. So we're gonna have to let's wait till I'm at base to see because the Gemara is gonna go back and forth on this. But okay, so let's see. But what is the pasuk? So it's pasuk in Daniel, so it's Aramaic, so that's even harder. So it says Ad gezeira kenishrin riva b'tifroi kitzipar. Till Ad gezeira till his hair. Kenishrin riva grows like a nesher, like an eagle. V'tifroi and the nails kitziparan go like the nails of birds. Well, that's what kitziparan is. So you see that the hair is a description of hair right next to the description of nails, right? Which nails of birds. I'm sorry. So Rameir saber matvis inish b'midi desamechle. Rameir holds that a person is going to a tfisa. This is a tfisa we said in the Dharam is a type of a neder. You're grabbing onto a certain terminology and you mean to make a neder that way, right? So this is a tfisa, right? So a person will have in his head, because it says birds next to Saira, so therefore he meant, when he said birds, he meant that he's the Nazir, right? Yeah, but okay, we'll see on our base that it's not so pashut, but because we're not going to just go with the pasuk. But anyways, this is the pasuk that the birds is next to the hair. On to base now. Rabbanon Sabri, Rabbanon hold loy matris inish b'midi desamechle. The Rabbanon say what? No shayches. What if because there's birds in the pasuk next to hair, so therefore Therefore, he meant that it's going to be a nazir, right? So it's not. No, it's not a. He's the Rabbanan say it's not a nazir. Yeah, and the Rabbanan say, at least the Fi Rashi, is even if a nazir was passing by, we don't say that he meant nazir. We don't say that. That's how strong the Rabbanan are going against the Remeir. Fine. Yochanan Amar, everybody holds that a person is not going to use a terminology to make a neder based on two words that it says in the pasuk. Ella, two words next to each other. Ella hainu time. So then, why does Remeir hold that he's a nazir? Ella hainu time the Remeir the chashin and shemet tzipari nazir tamei kibbalalav. Because when he said tziparin, he said that I am going to sponsor the birds, right? When a nazir becomes tamei, he has to bring two birds and a what's it called, a kevis, right? See, maybe he meant that he's going to be sponsoring the birds for a nazir tamei. So Gemara asks, "Michli chashina ka'amar."
I mean, how does the Gemara think of these things? If I walk past Peretz's house and I say the word whiskey, all of a sudden I get a bill from Chateau for $700 because Peretz thought I was buying him 4 cases of scotch. What does it have to do with anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the pshat.
But so, Rabbi, are you delivering that, or is somebody else bringing it?
No, they're going to deliver. They deliver. No.
For that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't know. But meaning we're trying to figure out all the chashashas, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. Anyways, the Gemara says michti chashina, but he only said chashina, right? He didn't say for sure. He said we're chayshid. Again, Remeir is saying that we're chayshid that he meant tzipari nazir. Memela, he's a nazir. Originally, I thought the other way around, but it's Remeir because Remeir is the one that says when the guy says tzipari, it means he's a nazir. So what are we chayshid? We're chayshid that perhaps he was saying the tziparim of a nazir tamei, and that's what his reference was, which then means that he wants to be a nazir, right? So when it says michti chashinan kamer, all you said was the word chashinan. Dilma tziparim nedava kibalalav. Who says that he's being makabel on himself the birds of a nazir tamei? Maybe it's tziparim nedava, right? That if somebody wants to give a nedava of birds that are based on mikdash. Maybe that's what he meant. Who said he meant nazir? So Gemara says, Im Kain, if Gemara answers, Im Kain, alai Kain mivayle. He should have said, I want to be a Kain. A Kain is a nest, right? Yeah, it's that he should have said Kain. For whatever reason, Kain is mashma, 2 birds, right? Right. This for Avi Peltz. Because he says he's a what's it called? Nakudis. What do you say? A diktuk nerd, right? Is it shiluach hakan or shiluach hakain? Right? So it's shiluach hakain. Except, the pasuk says al kan tzipor yagi. What does it say? No, that's what you're not supposed to say. It says ki yikarei kan tzipor. Song of the dog. Ki yikarei kan tzipor. So it says kan. So the answer is go Avi.
Im tam vareach en litvakeach.
What? He said it too much Israeli accent for that.
Im tam vareach en lehitvakeach.
Okay, very good. Okay, but anyway, so the pshat is that when you put the word Cain attach it to a word afterwards, then it goes from Cain to Kan, right? So it goes from Kan Tzipor. It's really Shluach HaKain. When you read it with the word afterward, Kan Tzipor, then it turns into Kan as opposed to Cain. Yeah. So it is Shluach HaKain, but the pasuk is Kan Tzipor. That's what. That's
or
my
in Kaplan, are you
dictum.
going to Monroe? Are you buying pigeons for the Rebbe? Or are you going to buy the Rebbe a new cane?
That's a good thing. Like guy says Cain. Here we're saying
Right.
Cain. So maybe
He's going
the guy
to
means
Monroe.
getting
He's buying Rabban Satmar a cane.
yeah, I guess things could change that way. Yeah. So anyways, so that's what we're saying, that it can't be that he just meant Stam to donate birds, because he would have said Cain. Okay, then the Gemara continues. Maybe it means tzipara mitzaira, right? There's all sorts of birds. Says we answer. We're going to show you nazir over lefanav. So meir is only going to assur it when the nazir is passing in front of him. So if a nazir is passing in front of him and he says tzipor, so then it must be that he means to become a nazir. Okay, so I'm going to ask this again. One second. Maybe he just says, maybe he meant that a nazir tamei, and he's pattering from his korbanos, right? Which mean we had this before, that he could when he said it, he's just sponsoring somebody's korbanos. No, nazir tahor over lefana. It wasn't stam and nazir passing. It was a nazir tahor. So Mamela, when he said it, it has to be that he meant that he's becoming a nazir tahor, right? Which, how do you know if a guy's a nazir tahor? He has a sign on his back that says I'm tahor. How do you know a guy's a nazir tahor over a nazir tamei? I don't know. I don't know what
he saw him in a wine tasting class.
Okay, maybe, but then he's got a problem if he's a nazir doing that. Yeah, what do you want to say, Gershon?
No, nothing. It's not a gay. I figured it out. But there's a nazir tamei. Once a nazir becomes tamei, does he have to shave to start again?
Does he have to shave to start again?
Or is that just the meir?
I don't know.
Not a meir, a nazir. A nazir has to shave, no?
A nazir has to shave?
At the end of his naziris, he has to shave, and they burn the hair, right?
After, but not, I don't know when he becomes.
I think the tamei has the same din because it finishes and it has to start again. So they give him the same din, no?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong, but if that would be the case, then you can know that he's a nazir tahor because his hair is not shaved.
Maybe he's wearing your hat. Okay, Gershon, you have homework for tonight. Tomorrow you let us know.
There you go. Peretz couldn't have said it better himself.
Look what a little steak does to Rachamim.
Very good. Anyways, okay. So then that's the back and forth. So the bottom line is we're saying that according to Reb Meir,
Gershon maybe he only has to cut the new hair. The guy has a beard. He's a see the Shayyid. I mean, he maybe just has to grow the hair, cut the hair that grew the past 7 days. Not that he grew for 25 years.
Yeah, there's still a difference between shaved clean and.
Why would he have to shave clean? That hair wasn't from the Naziris.
No, a nazir when he finishes has to shave clean.
That's something else. I don't know that, but I'm saying the hair.
No, so I had thought that a nazir tamei because he has to stop and start again.
I hear what you said.
Same thing.
I hear what you said.
No pun intended, Rabban. Yeah. Here, you said you hear what you said.
I hear what you said.
Yeah, you got to know what you meant by hair.
I'm a poet,
sure.
I don't even know it.
There you go. Deshala, did you mean hair of a nazir, or you hear of the hair of your head, or hair of hearing?
Or maybe it was the rabbit that Nebuchadnezzar ate.
Yeah. But anyways, okay. So now that's what it is. We're saying the meir holds that Sipirim only works if it's a nazir tahor passing him. So it means we got to chase down this guy. We got to chase down this nazir and say, by the way, you a tahor guy, or you're a tamei guy, right? Okay.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
That the guy's gonna become a nazir by making a neder saying siporin, when that's the only case that he would be a chayker, right?
You mean if he becomes a tamei?
Yeah. So he's going to use that lashon to say I'm becoming a nazir. It's just bizarre.
It is. You're right. That's a good point, right? Then we said that's when he's a chayker, according to Eliezer Kfar. Yeah, doctor, that's a good point. Actually, Taisus, I meant to say this yesterday and forgot. So, are these the Rabbanon? These l'chayr, the Rabbanon are deciding whether the guy is a nazir or not. Right? One of the Taisus in yesterday, I think it was yesterday, or on Amud Aleph, or somebody, one of the Rishon, somebody asked this kasha because essentially we had this in the daf at the end of Nedarim. Right, we said, who gives the Chachamim the koyach to do this? Meaning, Bishlam and Nedarim, the Chachamim say, oh, it meant the neder. Okay, so the guy has to be mat the neder. Here, The Chachamim are saying the guy's a Nazir, right? If the Chachamim are wrong, he's bringing korbanos, right? Meaning, if we're wrong in our estimation of what this guy meant, right? Then
That's not how
he's-
Taisus learns up. Taisus says that he does tell us afterwards that he meant Nazir.
Oh, so that's what we're going to have to say. You have to say that a guy cannot become a Nazir.
One second. We had him, didn't Kadosh Baruch give him the power? But we say when Pesach is, they bring korbanos there also.
So that's the shaila. Is this, are we trying to put in here? Are we trying to put in here that the Chachamim have the power, right? That was the Taisus in the end of the Darim also. How much power do we give the Chachamim to be Iker things, right?
I mean, that's not Taisus on Kid Going does not learns up the case. It's you explain what you meant, so it's not such a chiddush.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. So now that's a different thing, Akiva. That so
no, it
Taisus
isn't
is
because
saying,
the guy was machriya what he meant, and it's piv liba
right,
at that point.
right. So that's meaning.
So the Chachamim are not being oimik to his das. He's saying what he meant.
What's that? No, so that's no. What Taisus is saying, not no, but saying what you're saying is Taisus is saying by Nazir there can be no vague things.
Right. So
Because-
when he explained what he meant, we could shots up that his lashon works with his lave. So
Correct.
It's not they're not going to the oimik of what the words mean. He meant this. It's not a suffix what he meant. Once he explains what his lave was, and the words could jive with that, it's enough to say that he's mechayev himself into another in his ears, and he's chayev a carbon.
Correct. That's when he.
So why is that
that's
such a
when-
chiddush?
Okay, that's when he explains himself. But the point is that there's no such thing as a suffix nazir. Meaning, we can't say a nazir has to be very clear as to what his intentions were. Otherwise, we cannot make him a nazir because we're going to have a kachim, we're going to have a chulin problem of bringing chulin into the Beis Hamikdash, right? Meaning stam nedarim. So okay, so the guy made a neder. He's going to eat challah. Not going to eat challah. He's going to whatever neder he made. Okay, fine. What's a big deal if we decide he's a neder? But by nazir, if it's off, then you can't bring korbanos based on that. That's why Taisus is saying that you need to. There is no such thing as suffix l'shonos in nazir. It's an important point. It's an important point to know from this. Yeah, but anyways, okay. So let's see about it. So my benayu. Bottom line is, what is the difference between the two terutzim? Because basically, we have two ways of explaining why meir holds that if a guy says tzipoirim, he's a nazir, right? Who was the first shita? Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says because tzipoirim is close to what do you call it? Is close to hair in the pasuk in Daniel. And Rabbi Yochanan said, no, that's not the reason. Rabbi Yochanan basically is saying is because we're assuming that since there was a nazir passing by, when he said it, he's referring to the birds that a nazir has to bring. Okay, what's the practical difference between these two terutzim?
Well, for somebody who doesn't know nach.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. But yeah, I don't know if that fits into the Gemara's teretz exactly, but yeah. So let's see. So my bina, going to Amr tziporin asmuchin l'seir alai. He says tziporin that is smuchin l'seir. Right here, Imamish said smuchin l'seir, meaning he knows nach. Right, I think that's what it means, doctor. Right. Yeah, that's he knows nach. So he says he's referring to the pasuk. So Rabbi Yochanan afagav d'amar hachi. If even though he said this, he nazir over lefanav in iloiloi. According to Rabbi Yochanan, if it's only going to work if a nazir passes by him. According to Rish Lakish, even if the nazir doesn't pass by, we say that people make nedarim based on these things. So when I ask, Amar. So now we're going back to, okay, so that's that. So now we explain the Machlokes. Now we're going back to that Rabbi Yochanan had said that nobody holds that people mean to describe things based on words that are next to each other in a pasuk. So is there a Madamar that says that a person does not take on terminology when it's next to it in the pasuk. But Tanya, ha'imr yamin hareza shvua. If a guy says, "My right hand," that's what he says. That's a shvua, right? The guy says, "Right hand going on a diet," so that's a shvua, right? My timer. What's the reason? La mishum tichsiv. Why? Because it says in the pasuk. Where's this pasuk again? Also Daniel. Yeah, it says, he lifted up his right hand and his left hand to Shemayim, and he said a shvua, the one who lives forever, which is the Rabbanah Shalom. So you see that it says yamin next to swearing. So we're saying that a guy who says ha'omer yamin, that's a shvua, and l'chara we're assuming that's because it's right next to shvua in the pasuk. So when it says amri loy, no, that's not the reason. The reason is Mishum the yamin gufei ikri shvua. The word yamin is in itself a shvua. The Tanya minayin lo omer yamin shehi shvua. How do you know that if somebody says a right hand, that's a lashon of shvua shenemar nishba Hashem biyaminoi, that Hashem swears with his right hand. That's a pasuk in Yeshaya. So you see that there's the actual word yamin can mean a shvua. We were thinking that it's only because it's in a pasuk in Daniel next to shvua. We're saying no, there's an actual word of nishba Hashem biyaminoi. Hashem used his right hand. Small shehi shvua. Okay, so what about small? If somebody says his left hand, is that also a shvua? So how do you know? Shenemar uvazroya uzoi, with the arm of his his strong arm, right? So the question is, why is the strong arm the left hand? Right?
It's the one with the tefillin.
Well, that's the yod keha, right?
That's din. Left is din. Yamin is rachman.
Yeah. So there you go, rachman. Shenemar uvazroya uzoi. Right? Look at the Rashi, the last Rashi before the mission. Zroya means, because it says yamino in the pasuk, then it says Zroya, so that must mean his left hand. How do you know Hashem puts on tefillin? With tefillin b'smal kaimi, and tefillin goes on the left hand, right? So that's how we know that left hand is also a shvua. So basically, what we're saying is that
how does that mean a shvua, though?
What?
How does that mean a shvua?
How is it a shvua? Well, I think from the pasuk in Daniel, it says Yemino Yosmailoi. I don't know if that plays into it, because it seems like we weren't going with that pasuk.
Yeah, we ended up with the next pasuk. Nishva Hashem b'Yemino, Yisrael Uzay.
Right. So that's what it's saying.
It's like the Vav Maisif, because the Nishva is going on both now. That's what it's saying.
Yeah. I thought that together. I wasn't sure where the pasuk in Daniel plays into this, but
I was wondering if it's because of the Uzay is tefillin. The tefillin is the shvua between Hashem and us.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't going that deep, but
I mean, yeah.
All right.
So that's why the Rizan or Rashi, whoever it is, mentions the tefillin, because that is the shvua.
I hear. Okay, whatever it is, but the Gemara is coming out. He's saying right hand, left hand means actual.
Does the Gemara realize that Hashem doesn't have any arms? Do they realize that?
I'm assuming they realize that. I'm assuming they realize it's metaphorical, though. Yeah.
Say Zroya Natuya. This is Yochanan in Mitzrayim. Zroya Natuya. What is that? It doesn't mean the Rabbanah Shalom obviously has a hand.
Very good. Very good. He also goes to Buffalo Wild Wings. What he does? No, he doesn't have any hands, Rachamim.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know.
Rachamim's VHS tape got messed up.
I was gonna say I started banging my screen to see if I could fix it.
What?
Always looks like the old VHS
Oh, you're
tape
right.
that we
Yeah,
recorded
I
over
didn't-
16 times.
I wasn't watching.
Yeah, you see, you had to start something. Now look at me.
I wasn't watching. I didn't know what everybody's talking about, but sheesh.
Rockman, we've got to go back to DVDs, man. We're up to DVDs and streaming.
Okay. Anyways.
Back to my stupid phone. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Turn it sideways, Rachman. Maybe it'll fix. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Zog the Mishnah. Yeah, we'll go a little weiter because tomorrow's daf is pretty long. Hareini Nazir min Chatzanim. The guy says he's a Nazir from Chatzanim, umin Azagim. So Chatzanim and Zagim, there's some that say Chatzanim is the seeds and the Zagim is the skin, and some say the opposite. Right? So Hareini Nazir min Chatzanim and Zagim, umin Tiglachas, or he says from the haircut, umin Tuma, or from Tuma. So he used any one of these four terminologies, which we know are the things that are negeya to a, what do you call it? To a nazir, right? He can't have grapes, he can't have grape seeds, he can't have grape skins, he can't have a haircut, and he can't become tamei. A nazir is a nazir. And all this, even though he only said one of them, he said, I'm not going to be having grape skins. Still, he has to keep the full nazirus, right? So that's what the Mishnah, again, the Mishnah is saying that a guy, he can use all sorts of different terminologies for nazirus, and he has to keep all of them, right? So the Gemara says, "Masnisin the Lord Reb Shimon." Our Mishnah is not like Reb Shimon. The time of Shimon, he's not chayiv until he makes a neder from all of them. Reb Shimon holds he can't just say one thing, one part of nazir, and make it into his isser nazirus, right? It means he's not chayiv until he does all of them. Right, for Rabbanan Amri, afilu lo nazir. Even if he only does one of them, havi nazir, he is a nazir. Right, so you see that what our Mishnah is going like the Rabbanan, and it's not like Reb Shimon. So now the Gemara has a long drawn out. I don't know if it's drawn out, but a long give and take of how they learn. Each one learns out their din. So my time to Reb Shimon. What's the reason for Reb Shimon? Again, Reb Shimon holds he has to say all the lashonis. My time with Reb Shimon, Omar Krom, Mikol Asher Yasem Migefen Hayayin, Mechatzanim V'Adzag. Right? It says anything he makes himself a neder, a nazir, from anything that has wine, and then it says from skins to seeds, or seeds to skins, whichever way you touch it. What is that? What do you need those two words for? Just isn't that included in Gefen? Right? Again, it says he made himself a nazir from anything having to do with Gefen, with grapes of wine, and then he says with skins and seeds. Why is that necessary? Elamai, it's coming to tell you that he needs to have everything. He needs to say everything in order for it to become awesome. Right? Okay, that's a pretty straightforward. Rabbanan my time, and how come the Rabbanan hold that he doesn't have to say everything? Omar Kram miyayin v'shecher yazer. He says he has to make a nezer from he nazir from yayin and shecher. So we normally type shecher as beer. That's clearly not beer, as we're going to see on Amud Aleph, right? A nazir is allowed to have beer. What it means is wine and old wine, right? Which then tells you that all he has to do is use the word nazir from yayin and shecher, or yayin or shecher, and that's enough, right? So that's the basic machlokes. So then the Gemara says, Reb Shimon nami haksim miyayin v'shecher yazir. So Reb Shimon, what's he going to do with the Rabbanan's pasuk? Again, the Rabbanan say it says miyayin v'shecher yazir. So as long as he makes himself a nazir from yayin, that's enough to include all grape products, right? Okay, but so what's Reb Shimon do with that? So yayin mitzvah ki yayin harishus. He needs to tell you that even if there's yayin that the nazir has to have, and it's a mitzvah to have it, still his nazirus is more important, right? Meaning you would think a guy makes himself a nazir, so he can't have wine, but wine for a mitzvah maybe he could have. So the pasuk's coming to tell you that a nazir cannot have wine of a mitzvah. Okay, fine. So you can hear that you need a chiddush, you need a pasuk for that, right? Because you say wine of a mitzvah is not.
What's a mitzvah? Kiddush?
Oh, so that's now the Gemara is going to handle that. That's exactly right. So the Gemara says, Maihi. What is it? Kiddusha v'avdalta? Kiddush and Havdalah, that's a mitzvah, and then you need a pasuk to tell you that a Nazir can't make Kiddush and Havdalah.
He'd be drinking not wine 12 times out of the 30 days, at least 12 times. So what's the big deal?
I mean, right, yeah. I mean, and he would
and he would have to chazai nishishi each of the 12 times. So
yeah. Correct. And he would go around telling anybody need to be Yotze Kiddush? Right? Yeah. So anyways, on Talmud Aleph. So the Gemara says there can't be Kiddush. And this is very interesting. This next line, very interesting. How to learn it. We'll go with the way Taisvis and the Rush learn it. Hare mushba v'aymin ala mehar Sinai. Right? Normally we say that, he's mushba v'aymin ala from Har Sinai to make Kiddush. That's not what it means here. According to the Rush and Taisvis, what it means is, are we mushpa v'aymin from Har Sinai to have Kiddush on wine? Right? The way the Rishonim, half the Rishonim, or I don't know, half, more of the Rishonim, most, I think it's most, learn is that the Gemara is saying it's not a mitzvah to make Kiddush on wine. It's a derabanan, but not from the Torah. Nobody would have a havamina that a Nazir has to make Kiddush on wine. Because it's not from the Torah. The Torah says you have to be Mekadosh Shabbos, Mekadosh Yom Tov. Doesn't say anything about wine. The Rabbanon are the ones that said wine. Right?
What about Dalet Kaisis?
Dalet Kaisis is also the Rabbanon. Dalet Kaisis is also the Rabbanon.
That's the Rabbanon.
Yeah, that's a the Rabbanon. It's Pesume Nisa. It has chumras to it because it's the Rabbanon. But it's
Well, the Gemara is asking, do you have such a havamina that wine you would need for Kiddush? I mean, we could use challah.
Correct. Exactly. Or Chamar Medina, which is where you get into that. That's what the practical halacha that comes out from this is: can you make Kiddush with Chamar Medina, Shabbos morning, not schnapps on a schnapps glass, bigger glass, all that.
What does it mean when it's Friday night is deraisa?
The Kiddush is the deraisa, not the yayin.
Not the yayin, the Kiddush. The saying the words of Kiddush.
What?
Saying the words of Kiddush.
Saying the words of Kiddush is deraisa. Saying the words of Kiddush is deraisa. The Kiddush ala yayin.
There was this.
Yeah.
There was this famous Nazir like 50 years ago in Yerushalayim. The Rav HaNazir, they called him, David Kayan. He used to make it on apple cider. That's what I heard. I heard he made Kiddush and he did everything with this some sort of concoction of apple cider.
Because he was being samech on the shitas that.
You also make it on challah, Yaakov. I'm not having on Friday night.
Apple cider is way more fun than challah.
No, I'm just saying.
You can't do Dalet Kaisis. You can't do Dalet Kaisis for that.
Yeah. No, that's the shy. That is mamish the shaila here. Can you make Kiddush on Chamar Medina Friday night? Can you not? But it's interesting because the Mephirish here seems to be saying that Kiddush ala yayin is deraisa. He learns that you're mushpa v'ayimid on it from Har Sinai, so therefore he can't start up. The Nazir can't start up with this, right? That's the way the Mephirish learns it. But that's not like all the other. That's not like all the other poskim. And I don't know, all saying most of the Mefarshim say no. There's no chiyuv deraisa to have wine at all. It could come up with people that are on major diets and this and that, and then also with having challah Friday nights for in Europe they made Kiddush on. They made Kiddush on challah Friday night because they didn't have wine. I know the Chavetz Chaim. I had heard this from I don't know who. The Chavetz Chaim never made Kiddush Friday night on wine.
Well, his becher wasn't big enough, so
that's what the Kanoim say, that the becher is not a raya, that it was such a small shear because they hardly had any wine. If he would have had a lot of wine, he would never have gone with such a small shear, right? But that's where you get into what's better to make. Is it better to make Kiddush Friday night on challah or on Chamar Medina, right? Shabbos day, already the place can say better to make Chamar Medina than on challah because you want to have an extra bracha there. But then, of course, it's the famous Rabbi Kiva Eger, right? The famous Rabbi Kiva Eger that if you say Good Shabbos, right, that's Kiddush. right? That's a Rabbi Akiva, right?
What about by davening? I'm saying you already a step before that.
Right, so that and a chanami, men are yaitza kiddush daraisa in the davening.
In shul.
Right, so you forget about good Shabbos. You already, unless you don't daven
No.
in shul.
Right. No, so what happens, Akiva, is so now what happens is the husband comes home from shul, or the men come home from shul, and they already yaitza the daraisa. So they're making kiddush as a derabanan, and they're being yaitza the women who are daraisa. So now you have a derabanan being yaitza daraisa. Right. So there's some say based on this Rabbi Akiva Eiger, when you say good Shabbos to the women and they say good Shabbos back, so now they're yaitza the daraisa kiddush, and then memela to the rabbanon, which a lot of poskim don't like that. Don't like that.
So
if they daven meir, I once ate by Yerushalmi family, and the guy made his daughter made the women daven meir first before kiddush. I don't know if it was for this reason. I think I asked him, and I think it was for this reason.
And if they just say vayichulu, it's the same thing, no?
Vayichulu is not. That's not kiddush, is it? Well, I guess if you say good Shabbos, maybe vayichulu. I don't know, Taka. Is vayichulu enough? Either way, but this Gemara is mamish, according to the Tosfos in the Rush, it's mamish mashal like that. It's saying, are we mushba ba'imid from Har Sinai to make kiddush al yayin? We're not mushba ba'imid on that, right? It can't. So again, getting back to the Gemara, so it can't be that Reb Shimon needs a pasuk to tell you that a Nazir does not make kiddush al yayin, even though it's a mitzvah, because that mitzvah is not strong enough to have a havamina that it would be doicha naziris. So what is it? Ella on the top line. Ella ki had amar Rava shvua she'eshtef. A guy made a shvua that he's going to drink wine. So now he had made a shvua and he's chayav to drink wine. The chazav amar Harini Nazir. Then he goes and becomes a Nazir. So this guy's a little cuckoo, right? He made a shvua that he's going to drink wine, and then he decided to become a Nazir. So asya naziris chayla al shvua. What Shimon is saying, the pasuk is telling you, yes, the naziris comes and takes over the shvua, and he's going to lose out. He's not allowed to drink the wine because now he became a nazir. So that's what the pasuk is coming to tell you. Okay, v'rabbanan nami hami baile lesser yayin mitzvah ki yayin rishus. Don't the rabbanan also need to tell you that a nazir cannot have yayin that's a mitzvah the same way he can't have yayin that's a rishus? So the Gemara, the rabbanan answer, and came lemakram mi yayin. Let's say the pasuk says mi yayin, my v'sheicher. All you need to do is say miyayin. He became a nazir miyayin. Why does he have to say miyayin v'sheicher? My v'sheicher shamas minotarti. So that teaches us two things. One, that all he has to do is say yayin, and then he becomes a nazir for everything. And sheicher tells you that even for yayin of a mitzvah, he still can't have yayin of a mitzvah. Reb Shimon, right? Reb Shimon, how's he going to learn? Hainu taima the cause of sheicher. Meaning, why does it say sheicher? Because of Sheikher la lufes Sheikher la mikdash, because we want to learn out gezeira shava of Sheikher to base of mikdash. Why the siv yayin v'Sheikher al teish atu v'necha itach. Right? You shouldn't. This is talking about to the kaihanim. They should not be drinking wine. Not you, not Aaron HaKohen, and not your sons that are with you. Meaning, no drinking wine in the base of mikdash. Ma gabi nazir yayin hu delesar aval shar mashkin loy. Is it just like by nazir? He can't have wine, but he could have other alcoholic beverages. Afgabi mikdash nami. So too, by the mikdash also, afgabi mikdash. I lost the place there. Afgabi mikdash nami yain hudelitzer. The wine is assur aval shar mashkin mishtaker and loy. Other drinks that are mishtaker is not a problem. Ulafuke. With Rabbi Yehuda, and that comes to exclude Rabbi Yehuda. The time Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, achal devela keilas v'shasa dvash v'chalab. If somebody eats this devela from keila, which is very strong figs, and he drinks honey, v'chalav, and milk, so that's a question whether that means chalab, the mixture of milk and honey will make you sort of drunk. Whatever it is, v'nichlas of mikdash chayev, he holds that you are chayev, which I think is the way we paskin. Right, so basically, we have a Machlokes here of whether somebody going into the Beis Hamikdash can drink alcoholic beverages other than wine, right? Which also comes up a lot. We should never know from it, but it happens a lot. I get this question of can an oval have wine during the shiva, right? Our oval could have wine during shiva. Only on Ninus can an oval not have wine and meat. After Levaya, they could have wine on the Rabbah. It says they should have wine to loosen them up a little bit. Right? That's what it says. But it's again this. But beer, they could have Alts and they could have Alts the 9 days also. Everybody asks, can I have beer in the 9 days? Yes, it's not wine. Right? There's a special din of wine. It has nothing to do with alcoholic beverages. Yain yisamach levav enosh, etc., etc. So yeah, so that's we're saying the same thing over here. Fine. Iba yisema, or we can say a different shot. Reb Shimon Leslie Isser Chalal Isser. Oh, now we get to the next big sugya, right? Reb Shimon does not hold that Isser is Chal al Isser. The Tanya Reb Shimon Omer ha'oichol nevela b'yom kippurim. Potter, if a guy eats treif on Yom Kippur, is he chayiv 2 korbanos? We're talking about shogig. He's chayiv 2 or 1, right? So meaning it's already assur because of Yom Kippur. So do we say that the Isser of treif or nevela goes on top of Yom Kippur or not? So Reb Shimon holds that it does not. One does not go on top of the other, right? So therefore, the same thing would be by a nazir. Let's say a guy makes a nazir, and the guy becomes a nazir, obviously means he's not going to drink wine, right? And then he makes a neder that he's not going to drink wine. And then he drinks wine. Is he over on 2 or 1? So Reb Shimon holds he's only going to be over on 1, right? So therefore,
the whole side of Isser Meisif or Isser Kailo.
Well, I mean,
didn't we discuss an idea that if the Isser adds more to it, then there is an Indian of Isser Chalal Isser? Does Reb Shimon not hold of that either?
I don't know.
I'm saying Yom Kippur is Meisif on the Nevela. You can't eat anything in Yom Kippur.
Right.
Or it's Kailo. I'm saying, isn't there like in Indian if it adds another darga to this? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Right? So normally Reb Shimon holds that Ein Isser Chalal Isser. But by Nazir, the pasuk is coming to tell you, the pasuk that the Rabbanan learned to tell you that all you need to mention is wine, and then it puts all the restrictions of Nazir onto you. Reb Shimon needs that pasuk to tell you that if a Nazir has wine and then he eats grape skin or seeds, he's going to be over on multiple isurim. There the pasuk coming to tell you that even though normally we say Ein Isser Chalal Isser, but by Nazir, the pasuk is coming to tell you that we say Yesh Isser Chalal Isser. That's what Reb Shimon is going to do with the pasuk. But okay, so that's it. So that's what they're going to learn. What about the Rabbanan? The Rabbanan don't need a pasuk for that because they hold Yesh Isser is Chalal Isser. So you don't need a pasuk to tell you that if a Nazir drinks wine and then he has grape skins and then he has grape seeds and he eats a shear of each one of them, that he's going to be over on all of them. They don't need that because they hold of Isser Chalal Isser. Fine. Now the Gemara says, okay, now we have to figure out what do the Rabbanan do with Reb Shimon's pasuk. Right? Reb Shimon had said, the Kol Asher Yasimi Gefen Hayayim. Anything that comes out of Gefen Hayayim. So what do the Rabbanan do with that? The Rabbanan Nami Haksim Mikol Asher Yasimi Gefen Hayayim. Amid Rabbanan Hasam Limit Ali Surei Nazir. There it's referring to it's coming to teach you about Isurei Nazir, Shemitztarfim Zeh Zeh, that they are mitztarif, meaning if you have, normally you need to have a minimum shear to be over on anything, right? So what's that shear? So it's kizayas. So but let's say you have a half a zayas of wine, whatever the equivalent would be in liquid, half and a quarter of skins and a quarter of seeds. So then all 3 of them would combine to make a shear. So that's what the Rabbanan need that pasuk for. Reb Shimon, less late ziruf, but he doesn't need ziruf. The Tanya Reb Shimon Omer, kolshu lemakas. If you be chayav makas, all you need is a kolshu. He doesn't hold of this whole din of kizayas. Where does he? But where do you go? But there is such a concept. So loy amru kizayas elalinim korban. The only time you need a kizayas is if a guy does it b'shoigeg. If he eats something by mistake, something that he would be chayav koros for, let's say he eats chametz on Pesach, right? Or food on Yom Kippur. So there, if he did it b'shoigeg, he's only chayav a korban. If you do it on purpose, it's a mashru. But in order to be chayav a korban, there you need to have a kizayas. But Nazir is not a chayav koros. It's only a lav. So therefore, there is no din of minimum there is no din of kizayis by Nazir. So therefore, all it is a mashiru. So that's the give and the take of the Machlokes. But the bottom line is the Machlokes between Reb Shimon and the Rabbanon is Reb Shimon holds that you need to say every terminology of Nazir in order to put in the restrictions of Nazir, and the Chacham say no, you just have to say one of them. Okay, I'll just go through I sent it out just now, the review. But if everyone wants or not, then everybody should have a fine
We have to do the timing. We have to do the timing.
Timing? What time is Look Bench tomorrow?
4:48.
48?
Yeah, and 6:19 is 72 minutes.
4:48 is Look Bench?
Yes.
So 4 o'clock, I guess. 4:05.
Okay. Which one? 4 o'clock or 4:05?
4 o'clock. Do we need No, we don't need to do that. 48 is Licht Benchen. 4:05. We'll do 4:05.
And what's the Shabbos?
It's got at least 6:45, not before 6:45.
Okay. The Iceman is 6:19, I think.
Okay, so 45 is enough. 6:45 is enough. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just read over the thing. A Nazir. So Daf Gimel is a Nazir is only considered doing an aveira if he becomes tamei because he may become assur. Meaning we said this we did yesterday, but meaning we said that Rabbi Eliezer Kfar holds that a Nazir becomes tamei. A Nazir is doing a chet. We said that's only if he becomes tamei is he doing a chet. If he doesn't become tamei, then he's not. It's not a chet because why we're afraid that he's going to give up on the Naziris. Studying Hareini Kazeh, we said only works if the Nazir is passing in front of him. And the same thing with Salsala is only works, Salsala, what he says with his hair, only works if he's holding on to his hair. Otherwise, it could be referring to Torah. Saying Kalkala only works also if he's holding on to his hair. Otherwise, it can mean that he's supporting poor people. Now we said the word pera means to grow hair. That we know from a gezeira shava. Right? Then 6, the saying birds is a machlokes that depends on Reish Lakish said, it depends on whether a person will use terminology that's next to hair in the pasuk as referring to hair. That was then Rabbi Yochanan disagreed, and he said that everybody holds that you will not use terminology, right, for a nazir, but what a meir is saying that that what the guy meant, he's going to pay for a tamei nazir's korbanos, and what it means is he's a nazir, right? That's the way Rabbi Yochanan learned it, and then we had a shaglatari back and forth. And what exactly that means? We said that it's only a Nazir, according to meir. According to Rabbi Yochanan, explaining meir, he only becomes a Nazir when he says birds if a Nazir is passing by. If a Nazir is not passing by, then he's not. According to Reish Lakish's pshat in meir, it's even if he doesn't pass by because it's the smichas of the psukim in the pasuk. So hair meant Nazir. The difference between the two is if he says birds next to hair is on me, right, like the pasuk, then it's a problem. Yeah.
A Nazir tamei does have to shave. So you can know that
you did the research?
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. Then we said 4, the attempt to prove that there are opinions that say that somebody will make a shvuah based on a word in the pasuk, which is yamin. We said yamin. And then we say that no, right and left, it could both mean a shvuah. Yeah. Fine. Then the Mishnah says any mention of the restrictions of a nazir will make a guy into a nazir. Meaning he doesn't have to say all of them together. Right? He could just do any of them. And then we said, but that's actually a machlokes between Reb Shimon and the Chachamim. Right? Reb Shimon says he has to say everything, and Chachamim said not. Right? And I didn't do it on. I didn't put out on Aleph yet. Hold on. I'll send out tomorrow's. So then we said, well, what's Reb Shimon coming for? So we said that Reb Shimon is coming to tell you the psukim, right? I'll just send it out tomorrow. Okay, we'll do that. Let's just chazir it now. He's coming to tell you the psukim. He's coming to tell you that if a guy makes a shvuah, he's coming to tell you that if it's a mitzvah for him to drink wine, a nazir still can't drink the wine. We thought maybe it means kiddush. We said that can't be. So we said that it means if he makes a shvuah that he's going to drink wine, and then he can't keep the shvuah.
What?
Right? And then
Just the beans he's chazering during the chazara.
And I've totally got to mute.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So and then yeah. So how did Rabbanan learn that out? They learned it out from the extra word sheikha, and Reb Shimon doesn't need the extra word sheikha because he says it's teaching us that it's only wine that's assur, not any other intoxicating drinks. And we said that that's actually a Machlokes in the Beis Hamikdash, whether they're allowed to have intoxicating drinks or not, right? And yeah, and then we said that we need a pasuk for Reb Shimon to tell you that we need a pasuk for the Rabbanan to tell you that all the different types of grape products combine to make a shear, and Reb Shimon didn't need that pasuk. He didn't need that pasuk. And we also had a Machlokes whether we say assur can be chal on assur. Reb Shimon holds it's not chal assur, meaning once something's assur for one thing, you will not have multiple what do you call it? Double jeopardy, right? And yeah, okay, and that's it. Thank you for listening, and the Olam should have themselves a fine night. Yeah, Rachamim, what is with your screen?
Oh, sorry. Here, how's this? Well.
Rachamim, do you have dial-up?
You're doing that on purpose?
Yeah, I know. Do I have what? Dialogue?
Do you have dial-up internet?
No. I got the regular. What you call it? I don't have to dial up.
You have lo-fi.
What did he say? I have Wi-Fi. I have Wi-Fi.
Rachamim, Wi-Fi means just you don't have to plug in. That's all it means.
Okay, I don't have to plug in. I don't have a phone anyway, but I got direct, whatever it is. I got the connection.